Hello and welcome. Millions of Pakistanis are still struggling, desperately trying to rebuild their lives after devastating floods. So why has the world's media turned away? It's a question many are asking, but some are acting to keep the story alive. One of Pakistan's most famous sons, musician Salman Ahmad, has enlisted the support of international rock star Peter Gabriel to release a special flood relief song called Open Your Eyes.
Open your eyes, open your heart. Open your heart, open your eyes. Open your eyes, open your heart.
The song draws attention to the suffering of the masses who are still languishing in refugee camps, battling hunger and disease. Parts of Pakistan remain inundated more than 3 months after floodwaters ravaged the country. The UN called it the worst natural disaster in the organization's history and launched an unprecedented global appeal for financial help, but the response has been relatively weak. Many say that as time passes and donor fatigue sets in, both attention and aid for Pakistan are drying up. So today we ask, how much worse could the crisis get for the survivors and what can set Pakistan on the path to recovery? Remember, you can send us text messages and emails with your questions and comments for the show. Well, joining me now, the two men who collaborated on the song Open Your Eyes. From New York, we have singer and musician Salman Ahmad, a founding member of Pakistan's most successful rock band, Junoon. Salman's also a UN Goodwill Ambassador. And from London, we have international music star Peter Gabriel, who's sold over 100 million albums and has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Salman and Peter, good to have you both on the show and good to talk with you both again.
Nice to be on your show, Riz.
Salman, if I can start with you, and I'll get to the song in just a moment, but tell me what you know so far of the situation there in Pakistan, how bad it's become, how little people know of how much suffering still continues there.
Well, Riz, look, it's the single biggest natural disaster on the face of the planet in the last 65 years. This is the assessment of UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. This is 10 times bigger than Haiti. What people don't realize is that, you know, unlike hurricanes and earthquakes, the flood is a slow-moving tsunami that it doesn't end. It just keeps on going. And just to reiterate, 20 million people displaced from their homes, their towns and villages, landmass the size of England underwater, infrastructure and lives ravaged. Children can't go back to schools. Patients don't have hospitals. There are no bridges. There are no roads. And you know, the world has basically shown not only disaster fatigue but compassion fatigue. And in this, Peter Gabriel came in as an angel of mercy to join hands in this Open Your Eyes song and campaign.
Well, Peter, I know that you've traveled the world, of course, a lot, been a lot to the developing world as well. But I wonder, what was it about this particular incident, this disaster, that made you want to get involved and you know, be part of this and get the song going as well?
Well, this is Salman's initiative, and he asked if I would contribute, and I agree that the response from the world has been shameful, it's pitiful, so I thought this was well worth getting involved with.
Now, in terms of the message, you know, the song, obviously the title, I guess, says a lot, Open Your Eyes, but in terms of who you feel it might touch, is there any thoughts on that?
You know, you never know quite who you're going to reach, but I think both from Salman's end and my end, you try and put some heart and soul into it and hope people will feel something, because I think, you know, with compassion fatigue, it's that sympathy, that connection, and you know, and I think sometimes we use, you know, the link with terrorism to just cut off from Pakistan in a way that I think is really inhuman and not helpful. Yeah. So I mean, I think that is one issue, but there are probably a lot of others, and this recession. But anything we can do to sort of poke our way through that and get people to open up a little bit, I think will be helpful.
I'll touch on the issue of the image of Pakistan in a moment, but a couple of emails, and Salman, one to you, if I may, from our viewers here. One in Uganda came in from Eva Praha, who wrote in saying, are proceeds from the song going towards helping those in Pakistan? Otherwise, singing would change nothing for me if I were a victim. What are you hoping it will raise, and how will that money be used?
Yeah, Riz, great question. So absolutely, all the proceeds from the song, the download, will go to Pakistan, and we're working with UNHCR, UNICEF, Citizens Foundation, Islamic Relief, and I also want to give a little bit of good news already. Since this little preview on YouTube has gone, people, a 13-year-old Jewish girl from San Diego ran 30 miles for Pakistan, got together $5,000, and sent it to SSGWI. Another 17-year-old Pakistani American girl in a high school got together her entire high school, and through Open Your Eyes, it's it's raising awareness amongst people from various backgrounds.
I know, Salman, you were talking about a girl called Tallulah Strom there who raised that money, the $5,000. And I wonder, really, I mean, I guess one of the key things it says is that this is something that crosses boundaries of religion, crosses boundaries of culture as well.
Well, yes, absolutely. It's symbolic and significant, Riz, that today, as Peter and I speak with you, 3.4 million Muslims are doing the pilgrimage in Mecca during Hajj. Eid is just around the corner, Diwali, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. So I'm just saying, to people, look, Pakistan is off the radar, but spare a thought for that young child, in her mother's arm, who wants to live, who has the same hopes and aspirations as Tallulah Strom and Umber, the girl in the high school. And spare, Pakistan is it's a vibrant country, but at a desperately fragile state at the moment. So we need to turn our attention to these people in a humanitarian way and help them out.
Peter, an email came in from a viewer by the name of Neil McKenna. I'll just read it out. It says, the lyrics say, open your minds, open your hearts, but the underlying message is, open your wallets. And I wonder, you mentioned about donor fatigue, but I wonder how much cynicism also sets in.
Well, there's a lot of cynicism there, but I think, because it's gone off the media, we don't see the images. We don't see, kids with cholera, diarrhea. We don't see people looking for somewhere to shelter, the collapse of the infrastructure, and I think somehow it's that human connection that sort of opens people up again. So, I mean, there is a lot of cynicism out there, but generally, when people connect and help each other, things seem to work a little better.
Yeah, so keeping the story alive. Well, Salman, a viewer from Kenya, if I can put another email from you, to you rather, from Janet Siranga in Kenya. It says, are you going to perform charity concerts in aid of those forgotten souls? If you do, please deliver the medicines, food and blankets directly to them. And I wonder, is there any plan to get out, or for yourself certainly, to get out into the field, into Pakistan again, and try and touch those areas that have been affected?
Janet, just to let you know, my wife Samina and we have a nonprofit called SSGWI. And over the last 3 months, in addition to working on the song with Peter and Alison Sudal, who's singing background vocals with Samina on this song, we've managed to raise over $1 million through doing fundraising, small and big. And yes, it's off the media radar, but we're empowered through Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, text messaging. So a lot of people, whatever they can do, are coming together. And this message of open your eyes, it's part of a campaign, which really goes beyond just the flood. It's about us as a global community. Look, Peter and we came together as global citizens. Yes, we're artists, and I have the deepest respect for him. But this is also symbolic of what you can do. If you partner with people from different cultures, come together in a global partnership, this is how we heal our world. Governments and politicians are too busy to focus on social change. I think this is a global citizenship issue.
Right, well, you know, you touch on that, Salman, an email that came in from Canada, if I can put this to you, because Abdullahi writes in saying, the Pakistan flood issue was a big test for wealthy Muslims around the globe, and I must admit, most of them failed. Now, I wonder, you know, obviously you've got this song, will go to a lot of expat Pakistanis too, and I wonder if, you know, not just Muslims, but particularly Pakistanis overseas have really met, the responsibility they're facing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, all of us, again, you know, it's a question we ask ourselves as human beings. You know, if something's happening 10,000 miles away, what are you going to do? But if you're in the diaspora as a Pakistani or a Muslim, well, you know, here's a country of 175 million people, Pakistan. 50% of them are women. 70% are under the age of 20. And that's a huge youth bulge. And, you know, in this very difficult time, they're looking towards us to help them. So I would hope all my brothers and sisters would come together and focus and open your eyes.
Well, I have questions for both of you in just a moment, some more coming up. We have to take a short break now. When we return, the power of music. How can such well-known humanitarian ambassadors pursue their art to highlight global problems and mobilize action? We'll be right back. Welcome back. Whether it's hunger in Africa, the floods in Pakistan, or the earthquake in Haiti, musicians around the world have worked diligently to raise awareness and focus attention. But what are the limits to what can be done to provide relief for some of the most bitter and political religious conflicts? Discussing that with me are Salman Ahmad, one of the best known Pakistani musicians who, among others, is working for peace between his nation and India, and international music star Peter Gabriel, who's been a pioneer of world music and international collaboration. As we get back to some questions, Peter, I want to ask you about that. You've collaborated a lot, obviously, with African artists and traveled a lot there. You know how negative the image was of Africa in the media. I mean, still barely improving now. But I wonder with Pakistan, how much of the problem is the negative image is received in the media because of the news of the Taliban and the sort of extremism?
I think it is. It's giving people an excuse not to dig in their wallets, and it's really ridiculous because it's such a small number of people involved in that, and this is a human tragedy that should be sort of everyone should be able to connect with. I think there's something Salman mentioned before is that, you know, we are moving to a point where anyone on the planet's surface will be able to connect with anyone else through mobile phones, which I know in this particular instance they're not there, not everywhere, but we're getting to the time soon when an individual will be able to say, you know, I need this amount of money to get drugs for my kid by 6 o'clock, and someone somewhere else will be able to just drop the money in, and that sort of person-to-person way of changing the world, I completely agree with Salman. I think is going to completely revolutionize this sort of initiative, because at the moment, and hopefully that will re-engage people if they can actually see the difference that their contribution makes. I mean, it's possible now, but it's a little more removed.
And Peter, of course, you know, there's cholera in the camps in Pakistan and in Haiti. And Haiti, of course, is in the headlines again because of the cholera, while Pakistan stays out of the headlines. And I wonder with that issue, when you're dealing with, you know, this difference in societies, Britain and America, if you look at the image of Muslims and Pakistanis in Britain, I don't know if you've managed to follow the sort of negativity that's occurred in America with the image of Pakistan and of Muslims in general. But I wonder, is British society a little more tolerant, a little more open-minded?
I think it is, but I do think there's a new sort of wave of intolerance sweeping through Europe, and you know, we're seeing that in France, and it worries me greatly. You know, we had some discussion about it last week, and I think those of us who've been working to try and, you know, open things up and make the connections between cultures need to work a little bit harder.
All right. Salman, of course, one of the issues with Pakistan, and you with the band, your rock band Junoon, had highlighted the corruption and some of the bad things that take place in that area, political area in Pakistan. I wonder to what degree there is fear that, you know, that corruption might really hamper efforts to try and bring relief to the people in Pakistan now.
Well, here's the thing, Riz. You know, look, when somebody's drowning, you don't ask them, you know, their license plate number and who their family is. You jump in, you save them. So yes, there is corruption. There are problems in Pakistan. You know, there's extremism, but there's 175 million people also, you know, who hope that they're going to be looked upon as having the same human rights as everybody else on the planet. So I totally agree with Peter that, look, we have to build a cultural bond with Pakistan, which Peter, by the way, inspired me to look at when he collaborated with Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan on Passion, his soundtrack for Martin Scorsese's film The Last Temptation of Christ. When I heard that track, it changed me. Now, it's only one song, but it changed me and took my musical direction towards what Junoon's music became. So I can't, reinforce more this power, the human power of one-to-one coming together. And arts and culture opens the doors. Music opens the doors in the heart. When we open the doors, I think people need to walk through those doors then,
Salman, what I was thinking is less so much how people might regard the situation in Pakistan. I was thinking also how you might have to deal, or you and the relief agencies and your organization would have to deal with the issue of the politics, so to speak. We had an email on that from a viewer in Pakistan, from Muhammad Khalid, and I'll put this to you. It says, the Pakistan government has limited resources to deal with the great devastation of the floods left behind, Whom then should we fight? The war on terror gifted by the US or the floods?
Well, look, I totally feel the frustration there that yes, Pakistan is dealing with the biggest single natural disaster, with the flood, and also the violence, this ungodly violence that's coming from extremism. But the silver lining is that, look, Pakistan has survived 63 years of a roller coaster ride. And if you just hold on and have faith, and we work together, we can, look, I was in England last month and we worked with Islamic Relief to raise about £500,000. And they're good organizations on the ground. Red Cross, UNHCR, UNICEF, Islamic Relief, who are on the ground helping people. So it's not as if you give your money, it's going to go to the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. No, they get their money from the heroin trade. So right now, I think it's a time just to say, put your hand in your pocket and help these people out.
Right. Peter, of course, the song Open Your Eyes will build awareness, and we hope, especially through the huge audience we have here, we can open some hearts and minds as well, and some eyes. I wonder, though, is there a natural follow-up when you release a song like this? We saw in the past with, with Live Aid building into a movement. Is this kind of thing necessary here?
Well, I think it is, because these problems aren't going to go away that quickly. But my hope, as with Salman, is that we will get much more person-to-person connection, and I just know that it's enriched my life enormously to make friends in many different countries and from many different cultures. And if people go one stage further and connect person-to-person in this sort of disaster, then you get a real exchange and not just a sort of donor relationship.
So Salman,
which I think both sides get a lot more from.
Right. Well, Salman, the song, both of you, but Salman, the song has just been released. What's been the feedback so far, and what sort of reach are you seeing it achieving?
Yeah, just from everyone who's listened to it and the comments that I've got from email and Twitter, it's just on people's repeat. And I have to say to you, look, it's a huge honor. It's a dream come true to work with the great Peter Gabriel. And for him to come out for Pakistan, having the natural connection through Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and Qawwali, I think all those elements, Qawwali, progressive rock, this sort of uplifting love poetry and a cause, it's bound to open hearts. But I think we need to open eyes and keep them open. And that's what Peter and I are hoping. And I have to also thank Alison Sudal of A Fine Frenzy, who's sung background vocals along with Samina.
Salman, what do you see as the follow-up then? What do you see, how do you see keeping this story alive, not just letting it fall off the radar again? Of course, the song will have a huge impact, we hope, and what can you do to keep that momentum?
Yeah, Riz, well, as this song has come out, I believe we need to do a campaign. And this is what Samina and I are focused on doing, Open Your Eyes campaign. And this is not only just for this flood disaster, but you know, open your eyes, open your heart, and whatever is happening in the world. The intolerance, the poverty, the need for education. It's a whole campaign which we will continue. And you know, this is not just based on Pakistan. You know, SSGWI is using music, arts, and culture to help bridge these divides.
And on the side, are you also, Salman, are you also being able to get those donors who pledged so much money that didn't get to Pakistan, so much that hasn't actually been fulfilled? Are you able to put any pressure on those guys?
Well, you know, through your platform, Riz, I'm hoping that so many well-to-do, you know, viewers will, you know, feel their hearts, will open their eyes, and they'll contribute. You know, our website is ssgwi.org, or you can go straight to UNICEF, you know, UNHCR. Let me give you an example. $35 provides food, medicine for a family of 7 for 14 days. Just $35.
Well, listen, Salman, Ahmad, Peter, Gabriel, real pleasure to have you both. Good luck with the record. Thank you, and congratulations for your efforts.
Thank you, Riz.
Thanks, Riz.
Thank you for being with us. Remember, you can watch podcasts of the show on iTunes. This week we're featuring a discussion with philosopher Slavoj Žižek and his thoughts on whether mankind is ignoring the signs of an impending doomsday scenario. On the next show, 60s radicalism. How much did that era set the foundation for progressive reform? We'll speak to 2 former student activists on what today's anti-war and student movements can learn from their experience. Be sure to tune in for that, but for now we leave you with some more of the song Open Your Eyes, dedicated to the victims of Pakistan's floods. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.